So my topic was drug trafficking. The two other topics were drug driving and drug abuse. But I chose drug trafficking because I thought it was like more interesting and I also found more information on drug trafficking. My essential question is what is drug trafficking and what are the most effective ways to stop drug trafficking on a global scale? My hypothesis is I think that there would be like one or two ways to help decrease drug trafficking, but not like stop it fully. This relates to classes or like school in general. My topic doesn't like relate specifically to school, but like drug trafficking does affect teens because like it exposes us to like drugs that can like harm us and everything, such as like fentanyl. And this topic interests me because I wanted to learn more about it because it affects teens like me and it also affects America as a whole. This is a topic overview. That's a picture just showing the deaths per million aged by ages 15 through 64. That's just like a chart. And some of my key detail and facts are the flow of narcotic drugs in the US began in the 1700s. 104,000 Americans die yearly from overdoses. Drug trafficking damages communities and ruins economic stability. Drug trafficking is one of our biggest problems in the world, and people can get 3 years to life in prison if they're caught drug trafficking. It just depends on the drug. So this is my first article. It's just giving me like background information on like what drug trafficking is, and the definition that it gave me was the array of criminal activities involved in the global trade of illicit drugs, which includes cultivation, manufacture, transportation, importation, distribution, and sales. That was the definition it gave me. It just talks about like how much it's worth, and drug trafficking as a whole is valued around 426 to 600 billion dollars. Um, yeah, it also tells me when it started in the U.S., which it started in the 1700s. It shows on like the impacts it has on society, which is extreme violence, and it also talks about the government's response to legalize controlled substances to lower drug trafficking. This article answered the first part of my question. It gave me the definition of what drug trafficking is, and it also just gave me like a little bit of background information. This is the second article. It just talks about Donald Trump, our former president. He was thinking of giving the capital punishment to drug dealers who were caught in America. He got this idea from Singapore because they also do this punishment and they have like lower drug rates. But like in China, Iran, and Vietnam, they give the same punishment. They still struggle with drug problems. This idea also violates fundamental human rights under international law. So obviously this idea did not pass, and even if it would have passed, it wouldn't really have helped America anyway as a whole. So this article didn't really answer my question. It gave me an idea on how to stop drug trafficking, but like not really an effective one. So like I gotta find another one. This is my third article. Um, it talks about the state of Maryland and the cities of Hartford and Baltimore. They heavily struggle with drugs like fentanyl and carfentanil. It destroys the community and it also causes many deaths due to overdoses. This is happening due to a loophole in the system. People are allowed to like buy drugs off the dark web and it just gets shipped directly to them because law enforcement doesn't have access to these packages because these packages don't have AED, which is advanced electronic data. So this is how these people are allowed to get these drugs from the dark web. However, there's a synthetics trafficking and overdose protection, which is also known as a STOP Act. It's a solution to require AED on all international packages entering the US. So this is effective to stop the drug trafficking. That so it doesn't like, really allow people to like buy stuff anymore off the dark web. It answers my question by giving me an example of how to stop drug trafficking, and yeah, it answered my thesis. So some of the conclusions I had was that drug trafficking affects many people across the world, and there are many different types of drug trafficking. If I was to continue researching this topic, I would want to know why it's like so hard to track drug trafficking down? And is there a way to like stop all drug trafficking across the world? This relates to classmates, and they could like learn from this is because there are a lot of like drugs laced with like fentanyl because they're drug trafficked here, and like they're just given to like people, and like you don't really know what's in them, and it could cause overdoses. Like there's been cases, and yeah, it's just sad to see. This relates to the world around me because I live in LA, and there's like a lot of homeless people here, and they're homeless mainly because of drugs, and there are also many overdoses, even kids like me that are still in high school. It just shows you how dangerous drug trafficking can be on a community as a whole, and yeah, it's just very dangerous. I found the most success finding articles and doing the topic overview, but I had trouble summarizing the articles because like I'm just not really good at summarizing stuff. I can imagine using this research in future English classes and future essays. I'd also want to get stronger in summarizing text because I know if I go to college and all that, I have to summarize a lot of stuff, and this is my works cited.